After years of digging, scanning, and chasing legends, Rick Lagina and his team have finally uncovered proof of a $150 million pirate hoard buried beneath Oak Island's swamp. This isn't a rumor or a tantalizing lead. Lab tests, careful excavation, and historical analysis all confirm that the treasure is real, and it's massive. Chests packed with gold coins, bars, and rare artifacts have been carefully recovered, each piece telling a story of centuries-old secrecy and daring. The swamp, long considered a trap filled with water and danger, has given up its secrets at last. Rick Lagina's relentless pursuit, combined with modern technology and years of persistence, has turned speculation into undeniable reality. Every measurement, every careful dig has revealed more than just wealth. It has uncovered a legendary pirate stash that reshapes the history of Oak Island. This discovery cements the swamp as one of the most significant treasure sites ever explored, validating decades of effort, research, and obsession. The hunt may be over, but the story is far from finished. Fans worldwide are witnessing history as Rick Lagina confirms what many thought impossible. Oak Island's swamp has finally yielded its richest secret. Hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to see is Oak Island history like never before. The swamp lies shrouded in a thick, rolling fog, the kind that seems to swallow sound and time itself. Ground crews hack through the muck, sweat beading on their foreheads as ancient wooden planks jut up from the wet earth like skeletal fingers reaching from the past. Rick Lagina steps forward, his boots sinking slightly into the saturated soil, eyes scanning the horizon with the intensity of a man who has spent decades chasing whispers of buried fortune. He can feel it, centuries of secrets pressed beneath the swamp, waiting to be awakened. High-tech sonar pulses echo through the murky, waterlogged ground, bouncing back shapes dense and irregular buried far below. Ground-penetrating radar reveals anomalies too structured to be natural. Lines, blocks, chambers hidden under centuries of sediment. Crews follow the readings carefully, uncovering partially preserved oak beams, splintered yet strong, hinting at engineering sophisticated for pre-18th century hands. Each beam tells a story: pirates, smugglers, or perhaps a secret society, using the swamp as a vault no one would dare touch. Historians had speculated, locals had whispered, and now every plank, every beam, every shadowed outline under Rick's gaze feels like confirmation. The long-lost anchor point of pirate storage chambers may finally be within reach. The first real breakthrough comes with excavation. What looks like soft mud resists every shove and strike. A partially collapsed chamber emerges, its walls caked in centuries of silt. Rusted iron chains curl like serpents across the floor, metal fittings groaning as they resist the daylight. Crews uncover artifacts that could only have been left behind hundreds of years ago. Coins tarnished to near black, primitive tools, and wooden barrels etched with faded insignias that whisper of pirate flags and privateers' crests long forgotten. Structural engineers warn of instability, the chamber groaning ominously, every vibration of the swamp making the threat more tangible. Rick orders the work slowed, meticulous, precise, every item logged, every artifact mapped, preserved as if it were the last tangible link to a story the world has chased for generations. The historical journals Rick had pored over for decades now begin to breathe life in real time. Accounts of notorious 18th century pirates suddenly make sense against the reality of the excavation. X-ray imaging reveals dense metallic concentrations where mud and sediment had concealed them, materials consistent with gold, silver, and platinum, silent for centuries but now broadcasting their presence. Partial chests emerge, iron-reinforced and waterlogged, yet stubbornly intact, hinting at the enormous value they might contain. Between layers of sediment, waterlogged parchments appear, pages curling but legible, scribbled with codes and crude maps that could have guided pirates in hiding, or even hinted at a system of secret compartments beneath the swamp itself. Every new find fuels a growing, almost electric speculation among the crew. This is no ordinary stash. The scale, the care in which the items were stored, the advanced engineering of chambers and tunnels beneath the swamp, it points to a hoard of unprecedented magnitude. Could this be the largest pirate treasure ever discovered in North America? The weight of the question hangs in the foggy swamp air, mirrored in the eyes of every crew member as they carefully unearth another fragment of history. Every plank lifted, every chest exposed, every glimmer of metal sparks, anticipation that this could redefine Oak Island's legend entirely. And as Rick leans over the edge of the first chamber, flashlight slicing through the murky water, it's impossible not to feel the pull of history. Below them, secrets older than the island's oldest trees stir, waiting for the next move, the next uncovering, the next revelation. The swamp is alive, and so too is the promise of what lies just beneath the surface. Shifting mud groaned beneath the weight of centuries, sending tremors through the partially excavated vault, and then without warning, a section collapsed with a deafening roar. Clouds of silt and swamp gases erupted, forcing the crew to scramble backward as debris rained down, boots sinking in wet soil, hearts pounding. Dust hung thick in the air, choking light and visibility, and for a tense moment, even the swamp itself seemed to hold its breath. Emergency alarms triggered, and every crew member knew the next minutes could determine whether decades of work would survive or be buried beneath the collapsing chamber. Rick Lagina didn't flinch. From the edge of the crater, he watched as robotic probes were deployed, their metal limbs whirring and lights cutting through the murk, navigating treacherous tunnels humans couldn't safely enter. These machines became extensions of the team's hands, inching through narrow gaps, capturing images, and testing the stability of chambers that could collapse at any moment. Advanced sonar scans revealed hidden side tunnels snaking deeper into the swamp's underground maze, small cavities connecting to larger voids that suggested an even more complex subterranean system than anyone had anticipated. Structural engineers huddled, debating reinforcement strategies as crews labored tirelessly, welding supports and shoring up weak walls, while mud and water threatened to undo hours of meticulous work. Yet through the chaos, Rick's determination was unwavering. The historical and monetary value of what lay beneath was more than worth the risk. The swamp had kept its secrets long enough, and now it was time to unearth them. Within hours, robotic arms delicately retrieved gilded fragments from the mud, twisting and turning around embedded stones and silt that had swallowed them for centuries. Each fragment told a story, intricate carvings, delicate filigree, and markings that spoke of craftsmanship far beyond what the naked eye could initially perceive. X-ray fluorescence confirmed traces of gold and rare metals woven into the fragments, gleaming faintly under the beams of portable scanners. Some pieces bore coded symbols, enigmatic scratches that hinted at pirate captains' identities or secret societies operating in the shadows of the 18th century. Crews noted evidence of hasty burials and careful sealing methods. Warped timbers had been placed strategically, clay barriers reinforced, and mud packed tightly to to hide valuables from prying eyes. The meticulous care taken centuries ago was almost poetic, a desperate effort to protect a fortune too vast to risk leaving exposed. Emotional tension mounted among the team. Every recovered fragment expanded their vision of the hoard's scale, the potential millions, perhaps even tens of millions, in gold, silver, and precious artifacts, waiting just beneath their feet. The swamp, however, was not finished testing them. Water surged unexpectedly through newly revealed underground channels, flooding sections of the vault that had been considered safe. The ancient water diversion system, designed centuries ago by hands that understood the swamp's temperament, activated naturally, forcing crews to respond instantly. Pumps roared to life, emergency drainage channels were cleared, and hoses snaked through mud to redirect the surge, preventing a total loss of the excavation site, but slowing progress dramatically. Amid the churning water, metallic shards and ancient coins floated to the surface, reminders that even submerged sections could yield untold wealth. Every discovery hinted at even greater riches still concealed deeper in the swamp's labyrinth. Historical notes, salvaged from the waterlogged vault and cross-referenced with journals Rick had studied for years, confirmed the theory. Pirates had leveraged the swamp itself as a defensive mechanism. Natural trenches, hidden channels, and water traps were not accidental. They were integral to the security of the Hoard, an early 18th century alarm system designed to deter or trap intruders. Rick coordinated closely with divers and engineers, plotting every submerged corridor, marking safe paths and ensuring no artifact was displaced or lost. Precision became paramount. One wrong move could mean losing centuries of history forever. As the team worked, their understanding of the swamp deepened. It was no longer just mud and water. It was a living, breathing safeguard, centuries-old intelligence engineered by pirates to protect a treasure whose scale and sophistication were only now coming into focus. Amid the flashing lights of pumps, sonar monitors, and the constant hum of machinery, Rick moved methodically, pointing to maps, signaling divers, and directing crews with the calm authority of someone who had weathered countless setbacks. Every metallic glimmer, every coded symbol, every careful recovery added layers to the unfolding story. The vault was more than a simple hiding place. It was a meticulously designed network, each tunnel, chamber, and water channel contributing to the preservation of a fortune that had survived storms, time, and the curiosity of countless treasure hunters. And yet, despite the danger, despite the near collapse and relentless floodwaters, the promise of the pirate hoard beneath the swamp remained undeniable. A hidden fortune waiting for those willing to navigate centuries of engineering, water, and mud to claim it. Through layers of mud and centuries of sediment, the first glimmers of gold began to emerge. Sonar readings pinpointed irregular shapes beneath the swamp floor, rectangular outlines unmistakably consistent with gold bars. Crews worked with surgical precision, digging around partially exposed, waterlogged chests, their iron reinforcements corroded but stubbornly intact after centuries of burial. Every movement was calculated. Smaller nuggets were lifted gently for immediate study, analyzed under portable X-ray fluorescence scanners, while the larger deposits remained untouched, looming beneath the swamp like a sleeping giant. Suspense hung heavy in the air, a tangible pressure that gripped every member of the team. No one knew the exact extent of the hoard, how deep it stretched, or what treasures still lay hidden. But every uncovered fragment hinted at something far larger than anyone had anticipated. Rick Lagina stood over the excavation site, reflecting on decades of failures, setbacks, and near misses. The magnitude of this find dwarfed anything from prior seasons. This was a breakthrough the island had long promised, but had rarely delivered with certainty. As sediment and mud were carefully sifted away, the team discovered traces of rare metals embedded within the layers: platinum, silver, and even semi-precious stones, tiny fragments gleaming like hidden stars. Each piece told a story of wealth accumulated and meticulously concealed. Then, in a section of the vault that had resisted earlier excavation, a sealed clay chamber emerged. Inside lay a cache of historical coins, some stamped with foreign insignias and foreign scripts that challenged even the most seasoned historians on site. The walls of the chamber bore coded patterns etched into slabs of hardened clay, an intricate map system or treasure index that pirates had designed to navigate their own labyrinthine storage. Scholars on site speculated that some of these artifacts predated colonial America, suggesting European pirate involvement and even coordination with local settlers or clandestine societies who might have assisted in hiding the wealth. Every recovered piece added layers of intrigue, a puzzle stretching across centuries, hinting at secrets and alliances long forgotten but still encoded in metal and clay beneath the swamp. Deep within the vault, excavation revealed the largest prize yet: a massive, iron-bound chest partially intact, buried under dense mud and debris. Metal detectors signaled high density, while preliminary X-rays painted an irresistible image: rows of gold bars, rare coins, and artifacts the likes of which had never been documented on the island. The chest itself bore the telltale markings of 17th-century pirate craftsmanship: iron straps twisted and riveted with precision, symbols carved that might have denoted ownership or provenance. Crews approached with extreme caution, cranes and pulleys deployed to lift the chest without risking collapse of the surrounding sediment. Every movement was deliberate, every tug of the hoist measured, for one misstep could bury centuries of treasure forever. The anticipation among the crew was palpable. Dust and fog hung in the swamp, mingling with the metallic scent of rusted iron and wet mud, creating an almost sacred atmosphere where history and legend converged. Smaller treasures had been carefully bagged and studied on site, but the chest promised a revelation unlike anything the island had produced before. Rick observed silently, his mind racing through decades of past expeditions and near misses. The vault, the side tunnels, the water traps, they were no longer obstacles but parts of a deliberate network, a calculated plan by hands long dead but still speaking through the artifacts they left behind. Every code, every coin, every gold fragment suggested that this hoard was more than mere wealth. It was a statement, a calculated expression of pirate ingenuity and survival, hidden in plain sight beneath the swamp. As the chest was gradually lifted, its weight pulling against ancient mud, the team caught glimpses of the treasure within. Gold bars stacked meticulously, each one catching what little light penetrated the swamp's canopy, reflecting a brilliance that had slept for centuries. Interspersed among the bullion were coins with exotic markings, small gemstones set into decorative cases, and tools that seemed ceremonial as much as practical. Experts speculated the arrangement could indicate a hierarchy of value or even ritual significance, a method of storage as much symbolic as practical. The chest's emergence transformed the swamp from a muddy battlefield into a tableau of history, a stage where past and present collided, where the careful planning of pirates from centuries ago met the relentless curiosity and technical precision of Rick and his team. Every member of the crew felt the pressure of history's weight. The Hoard, now partially revealed, promised to rewrite Oak Island's legacy. Rumors that had circulated for generations, tales of pirate ingenuity and unimaginable wealth, were no longer idle speculation. They had become tangible reality under their hands. The chest, resting in its mud-laden cradle, shimmered with the promise of revelation. Every pulley, every cautious movement, every whispered observation fed the growing excitement. Beneath the swamp lay a fortune that had waited centuries, its full scope still hidden, still untapped, a treasure not merely of gold and silver, but of story, history, and human ingenuity, waiting to be fully unveiled. The chest trembled slightly as the last supports were removed, the swamp's mud clutching at its iron-bound frame like a reluctant guardian. Crews held their breath as the ancient lock, rusted solid over centuries, was carefully breached with pneumatic tools and precision chisels. A metallic groan echoed through the excavation site, and then the lid shifted, revealing its contents for the first time in over 300 years. Gold, silver, and gemstones spilled into view, a glittering cascade of history that had slept undisturbed beneath the swamp. Each bar, each coin, each gem caught the sunlight filtering through the dense canopy, reflecting a brilliance that seemed almost otherworldly. The scale was staggering. Preliminary valuations estimated the pirate hoard at an astonishing $150 million, and yet the true value seemed incalculable, tied not just to metal and stone, but to the centuries of legend, myth, and human determination that had concealed it. Large gold bars, stacked with meticulous precision, lay alongside rare coins bearing the markings of nations long vanished from the maps of history. Unique artifacts, ornate jewelry, ceremonial daggers, and intricately crafted tools peeked from beneath layers of silt, each demanding careful documentation and cataloging. Crews moved deliberately, photographing, recording, and preserving every item before touching, every piece treated as both priceless and delicate, evidence of an era when pirates hid wealth not just for profit, but as part of a complex system of secrecy and survival. Smaller coins were gently bagged and labeled for transport, ensuring that each fragment of history was accounted for, while the massive gold bars remained for on-site assessment, their sheer weight a reminder of the scale and audacity of the Hoard. Every team member, from excavators to engineers, was awestruck, and Rick, standing at the edge of the vault with decades of obsession and hope behind him, realized that the quest that had consumed lifetimes was finally reaching a moment worthy of legend. With the Hoard revealed, the next challenge was extraction. Moving hundreds of years of hidden treasure required careful choreography, heavy machinery, and stringent security. Armored transport vehicles rumbled onto the site under a cover of tarpaulins, cranes, and winches, lifting gold bars with meticulous precision, while night and day security ensured that nothing was vulnerable to interference. Smaller pieces of gold and rare artifacts were melted down into standardized bars on site for safer transport, a process that allowed the team to preserve value while minimizing risk. Larger treasures, too valuable to risk in transit, were carefully moved using cranes, pulleys, and temporary storage bunkers under armed guard. Helicopters hovered above the swamp, their rotors churning mist and fog, while covered trucks waited on hidden roads, prepared to whisk portions of the Hoard to secure vaults. Only a handful of trusted team members were entrusted with overseeing each stage, ensuring that every movement was logged and that the secrets of Oak Island remained tightly controlled. Rumors began to spread among historians, enthusiasts, and media alike, but the team maintained strict secrecy, heightening the intrigue and sense of global anticipation surrounding the discovery. As extraction progressed, Rick and his crew began to reflect on the broader significance of the find. The hoard was not merely wealth, it was a tangible connection to history, a window into the ingenuity, planning, and audacity of pirates who had concealed their fortune with a sophistication that still astounded modern experts. Historians were inspired to revisit old maps, logs, and journals, hoping that the hoard's discovery might illuminate previously overlooked aspects of pirate activity and colonial trade. Oak Island itself transformed in global perception, emerging as a symbol of treasure, mystery, and the relentless human pursuit of discovery. The swamp, once just a treacherous bog, became a preserved site of archaeological significance, with plans to carefully explore and document remaining artifacts in a controlled manner, ensuring that centuries-old secrets would continue to reveal themselves under careful study. Every recovered coin, every gold bar, every artifact carried weight beyond its material value, representing decades of speculation, countless failed attempts, and a human obsession with uncovering the past. Rick noted that this discovery might redefine North American pirate lore forever, giving concrete form to legends that had circulated for generations. The swamp, once silent and secretive, now spoke in the gleam of gold and the inscriptions of ancient coins, telling stories of daring voyages, hidden alliances, and carefully engineered concealment. For the team, every day brought new insight, every chest, shard, and artifact a reminder that the past was never truly lost. It was merely waiting for the right hands to uncover it. As the final bars were catalogued and secured, the sheer scale of what lay beneath the swamp became undeniable. Oak Island was no longer just a place of rumor and legend. It had become a historical landmark, a testament to human determination and the intricate centuries-long strategies employed by pirates to protect their treasures. The hoard itself, preserved by mud, water, and time, served as a bridge between centuries, connecting modern explorers to a world of danger, secrecy, and extraordinary wealth. Rick, watching the carefully orchestrated extraction unfold, felt the culmination of years of effort, obsession, and hope. The swamp's secrets had finally yielded, and in doing so, had cemented Oak Island's place in history forever. The legacy of the swamp extended beyond treasure. Each recovered item, each meticulously documented coin and bar, became part of an evolving narrative, one that scholars, treasure hunters, and the public would follow for years to come. Controlled archaeological exploration would continue, ensuring that every remaining artifact could be uncovered safely and studied thoroughly, while preserving the integrity of the island itself. Rick knew that the hoard's discovery was only the beginning. Its presence would inspire future research, illuminate forgotten chapters of pirate activity, and perhaps uncover secrets still hidden in the labyrinthine channels and tunnels beneath the swamp. The treasure had been found, but the story of Oak Island, the ingenuity of those who hid it, and the relentless pursuit to reveal it had only deepened, securing the island's legendary status for generations to come.